Good afternoon. I say good afternoon. Yes, it is 1:38 p.m. on a glorious Saturday, although it is due to rain later on at 6 o'clock. Well, where I am, apparently. Anyway, I just checked the app. It's definitely going to rain later, which is a shame because I might have been tempted to get the barbecue out, but if it's going to rain at 6, then that pretty much poo-poos it. Young David and Jazza in the chat, nice and early. I'd be interested to know how you get notifications for these when I go live, actually, because obviously I don't get any notifications. Right, I thought we'd open up the chat, have a little chat, obviously. Andy's there for us. 3 subjects to sort of skirt over, really. Montiel, the right back, has popped up in the news again. Bakayoko has popped up, a rumour that doesn't seem to go away, although I don't believe it. We're going to go into why. And thanks, Jazza. Yes, you get a notification, he told me. And the other thing, which was brought up by Kev, who was on Twitter, who just wanted to he wanted to point out something that that escaped my attention in the video yesterday when I was talking about the fixture congestion, and he made a really, really good point. In fact, we'll start off with that. Let me just welcome everybody to John, to Gary, to Chris, Jazza, to Free Hammers, maybe Luke. He's sat in the garden listening in the sun, which is nice. Get in before 6 o'clock. It's going to rain. And Nick, who says Bakayoko ain't good enough for the Prem. We'll get into Bakayoko in a minute. Don't post too many questions or anything right now, if you wouldn't mind. Otherwise, they disappear up the screen, and I won't be able to. I just won't be able to scroll back and read them. So I'll tell you when I pop to the chat. But for the moment, because I struggle with multitasking, actually. So right, first of all, it was Kev on Twitter. Now, as you remember, I looked at the fixture congestion. Remember yesterday, it was 3 days, and then 4 days, and then 3 days again. And he made a really good point, which was what we would normally do. If we were going to go and play Newcastle, for instance, well, I guess Newcastle's a funny example because we'd probably take the plane. Will we be able to do that now? I don't know. How will that work? I would imagine there's a large chance that we'll probably take the coach. But even, let's say we're going to Burnley, for instance, which we are doing straight after Newcastle, it would be a coach trip. And what we'd do is we'd stay in a hotel. That's off limits now, isn't it? Hotels are shut. And it was Kev that really pointed it out. That's going to be really difficult for us and any team. Yes, I do know that people get some point, and it's not just West Ham in this situation. I know, but obviously I'm going to talk about West Ham by default, aren't I? So imagine if we have to go up to Newcastle, there's no planes, travel up there on a coach. What do you reckon that is? 7 hours, 6 hours? Something like that. And then we go up there and they can't stay in a hotel. Now, that's going to be really bad. So let me just look at these fixture congestion, the fixtures as they are now. So they have to drive all the way home and then go to Burnley. I mean, that doesn't seem quite right, does it? There's no rest. They're going to be absolutely knackered. Now, I understand that everyone's got to make sacrifices. And really, obviously, I get it, bearing in mind whatever 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 people have died. The fact that some poor footballers might have to stay on a coach is not the end of the world. But I do think that does impact because that's a massive round trip. Basically, if you've got 3 days in between those 2 fixtures, you're going to be spending over half of that travelling. Yeah, I just wonder how much that's going to impact games. And I think the more I looked at it, I think Newcastle are going down to Bournemouth, for instance. That's a hell of an advantage for Bournemouth. Yeah, just weird. I found it a really good point, and something that we definitely got to take into account. We're all looking at fitness. We're all looking at form. We're all looking at who's going to get into the team. Sorry, James. I'm not reading that out. All right, I can see that you're trying to get me to read out something rude. James Gunn is basically like Bart Simpson phoning up the boozer, trying to get me to shout out something rude. I'm not saying that. Anyway, hello to everybody. Hello to Ray. Hello to Kent, Matthew, Robert, Ian. Oh, and Ian's in Portugal. Good afternoon from Portugal. Anyway, well, so okay. Gonzalo Montiel. We love it. The full Monty, the man from Del Monte. We've got to sign him now just because of the name. Plus, our other right back is leaving. Oh, we need to talk about him as well, don't we? The news came out yesterday, and that actually Ngakia's representatives hadn't come back at all with any counter offer. They've not actually given the club an idea on money. So, as we understand it, the club offered $5,000 basic plus 15 grand for every appearance, and that would be reviewed after 15 games, and it goes up. So that was the offer from the club, and apparently Ngakia's representatives turned around and said, no, we're not coming back with a counter offer. We're not. There was no haggling. There was no coming back and saying, well, hold on a second, we're about 10 grand, and then blah, blah, blah. They said, no, we're not coming back. We are just leaving. So I thought that was really, really interesting, and certainly in keeping with what I'd heard as well. So anyway, I thought that was so the right back is a priority. Now this geezer, Gonzalo Montiel, the full Monty. I was going to say the man that likes to say yes. Is that the man from Del Monte, or is that the Midland Bank? I'm probably showing my age there, something or other. Anyway, let's just go through this really quickly because I think this is old. This is an old story. When I say old, I think it's a week old. I think I might have covered this, but this is from Sports Witness. I think they might have possibly read the article that I read, but they've just sort of rephrased it, so a couple of their own words and put it up. But basically, his agent had said, this is Gonzalo Montiel, for those of you that don't know, River Plate's agent, a River Plate's player, and he's played for Argentina twice. His agent is called Marcelo Caracedo. I think I've done that all right, haven't I? Marcelo Caracedo. I think I've done it. Oh, I made it sound Italian, didn't I? Don't worry about it. Anyway, he said there are several teams that have been called and are interested in Montiel. West Ham already sent an offer in January. And I think they'll also make one in this market. I guess he means the next transfer window. And on the Italian side, there's been an offer as well. The agent also claimed it's unlikely for clubs to trigger Montiel's release clause, which, as I understand it, is $20 million. He said it's still an early phase of the market. The leagues are starting, and it depends on how they end, if they qualify for the cups or not. Said the player is worth what they pay. Basically, he's gone on to say that the club, River Plate, will accept less than the buyout clause. He said before the pandemic, there was talk of 10 or 12 million euros, but I think that number will be difficult now. If the pandemic hadn't happened, they would have got it. I would have said there was an 80-90% chance he would leave in this window. He basically saying he's happy to go back to River Plate with a reduced offer. Now, this I find the most interesting thing about this was Lanzini's part in it. See, Lanzini has come out and said he wants Montiel. And there's something really interesting at the bottom in Lanzini's quote. It says, Lanzini is an admirer of the right back too, who basically spoke to the biggest newspaper in Argentina. He said, I think Montiel would fit in well at West Ham. I know they looked at him, but couldn't bring him in, which ties in with what the agent was saying. He asked me about West Ham, and I spoke to him. The coach, David Moyes, likes him. He likes to play with 3 or 5 defenders. Now, that's not been made up, right? That's too detailed. The thing about made up stuff is vague, right? Made up stuff lacks detail and lacks precision. There's 2 things that I take from that sentence, right? And that is the first one. It says that the fact that Lanzini has spoken to Montiel and he's spoken to Moyes would indicate, obviously, we don't want to accuse anyone of tapping up, would indicate that Moyes and Lanzini have had a discussion. Now, if Moyes and Lanzini have had a discussion about Montiel coming in because Lanzini knows him, firstly, it would indicate to me that David Moyes knows that Lanzini's hanging around, that Lanzini's part of his plans. It indicates to me that David Moyes not given up on Manuel Lanzini. The second thing, he said the coach, David Moyes, likes him. He likes to play with 3 or 5 defenders. Why is that pertinent to Montiel? Well, because if you've seen him play, good player, by the way, is certainly a player that can operate at right wing back, very much so. He's a right back, operate right wing back, and I certainly got a feeling all throughout the final games where Moyes reverted to a 4 at the back. I always felt like he was forced to, just because his 3 at the back hadn't worked. I just always get the impression he's desperate to play the 3 at the back. Moyes wants to play 3 at the back. It doesn't work very well now. So reluctantly, he switched to the 4. Is this an indication that he wants to switch back to that? And if he does want to switch back to that, just forgetting the Montiel thing for a second, is he going to try and do that next week? Next week. That's really good. I'm really looking forward to it. I know I digress, go off on a tangent. I'm actually even looking forward. I might even watch Aston Villa and Sheffield United. Who would have thought of such a thing? I would never have watched Aston Villa and Sheffield United. Sorry, Alan Woodhouse is saying, he said a while back that that Moyes would revert. I seem to remember that as well, Alan. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch Sheffield United against Aston Villa. Why not? I quite fancy a bit of that. I spoke to Gio about it the other day. He was saying he might even fancy Sheffield United against Aston Villa more than Manchester City and Arsenal, which is on the same day. What's he saying? I'm talking on a potato. What's he talking about? By the way. Anyway. So that's that. What was the other subject as well? It was Bakayoko. Someone's having a go at my FIFA, by the way. We'll talk about FIFA in a little bit. Andy says I'm not watching FIFA games anymore. They do have a familiar outcome, don't they? I got to be honest with you. Even I got. That's why I was trying to entertain myself. I'm getting bored of getting beaten all the time. So there you go. He's just better than me at playing FIFA, isn't he, Gio? Really, it's a bit uncompetitive. Let's be fair. It's like watching Manchester City turn over Fleetwood Town all the time. We just, I think we're switching off now. We recorded another game actually, which was the pair of us playing on the same team. We had Rem Grant of FIFA, which is a little bit better because we basically get beaten by somebody else rather than Gio beating me. So I like it anyway. Bakayoko. Let's deal with Bakayoko. I don't want to talk too much on it because it's a bit boring, isn't it? Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, you're not tuned in for me to say blah, blah, blah. But you understand, it's a bit boring. West Ham have been placed in pole position to sign Chelsea midfielder Bakayoko. So on, so forth, so on. The report claims the Hammers are willing to take Bakayoko on a permanent basis. Chelsea paid 40 million from Monaco. We know this. They loaned him back out to Milan, and then he ended up back at Monaco. Something like that. Is that right? I don't know. Chelsea is said to be holding up for a transfer fee of 42 million. So hold on, let's get this right. So they bought him for 40 million, and then he flopped and he was rubbish, and now they want to sell him for 42 million. I mean, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? I'll tell you what, I brought a VW Touran for the missus, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And it was $3,000 and it broke and it was rubbish. Wouldn't it be nice if I could have sold that for $3,500? But life just doesn't work like that, you see. We made a massive loss on the hunk of junk. The irony is I bought a VW because someone told me that VWs are more reliable than anything else. Anyway, that's another story. Don't want to hear that. Bakayoko, they bought him for 40 and now they want to sell him for 42. They ain't getting it. Nobody is paying £42 million, right? For almost anyone. And obviously I know there'll be different examples. Yes, Chelsea are buying Timo Werner for 50. But let's be fair, Werner's stock is an awful lot higher than Bakayoko. What I'm saying is nobody's spending 40 odd million quid on a player that ain't worked out. It said this report. Anyway, whatever. Blah blah blah. Look, it's nonsense. I don't think we want him. It goes against what David Moyes has been saying. We don't have any money. We've already lost. I've just already discussed what we've lost this season. We don't have any. I'm not saying there's going to be no business done. Business will be done. But there's going to be a lot of loans. If Chelsea want rid of Bakayoko, I'll tell you there's only one way they're getting rid of Bakayoko, and that is they're going to have to loan him out again and maybe get a loan fee for him. I don't think they'd get 20 million for Bakayoko at the moment in the current climate. Very few clubs have money. You don't need me to tell you which clubs have money. You can make the list yourself. The rich clubs still have money. Everybody else, they don't. So the day, when, for instance, Bournemouth were going out and buying players for £20 million here and there and stuff like that, that's what's stopping. It's that stuff. It's West Ham buying a player, ironically, for 40 million quid. That is what is not happening anymore. I am hoping Tottenham don't buy anyone in many respects. Do you know Tottenham have just taken out a government loan? Did you know that? They've borrowed 200 million off the government. Crikey. I'll go into that another time. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So there you go. That's the news for today. What are we saying? Everyone in the chat? Anyway, let's go and have a little look. Kent Hammers. I'm still taking a bit of stick for FIFA. That's fine. I don't mind. You can give me the stick. It was terrible. It was terrible. But I do think Wilshere made a good save and goal. Kent Hammer says, Gonzo, why would you exchange Declan Rice for a Chelsea player? I don't think that was... Well, listen, I wouldn't. I don't think we are. I don't think that was the story, mate. I think it was talking about a straight cash thing. Nick says we should sell more average players who won't play for West Ham. I mean, the thing is, no one's going to want to buy them, Nick. That's the only problem with those. The players we don't want, no one else wants either. Gary says, what about him and 30 million for Rice? I just wouldn't do it. Victor agrees we won't be spending 42 million on anyone. We really won't. Lewis says is his favourite player of all time. I don't think he means Bakayoko. We need to know what you mean, Lewis. I've obviously missed the earlier chat. Will they be pumping in crowd noise? I don't know. I should know, really, shouldn't I? Nobody said anything to me. It will be our first goal. I like that. Who's going to be our first goal scored? Mikel Antonio. That's my... I don't know. I'm not in the know. I'm not... I can't... what do they call them? I'm not... A psychic. I just think it might be Mikel Antonio. Player of the year. Depends what happens to us. Angelo Ogbonna, quite possibly. More players going out than coming in. Yes, indeed. I would imagine so. Jamie's happy to stand in for me and play FIFA. Yeah, maybe you play the FIFA and I just gob off. Maybe that's just the thing to do. Can Spurs use that loan money to buy players? It shouldn't be allowed. I don't know, Ian. That's really interested. Gary says, what are the kids making today? Ironically, a noise, but they are destroying the den that they made the other day. The den was mostly made of cardboard, did I mention? And it has absolutely bucketed down with rain. So it's sort of turned into a mush. And I've done a lot of work in the garden, so I see you want to get that mess cleaned up. What else have we got here? My favourite player. Oh, blimey. Lewis, I tell you what. I don't know about that, mate. Predictions for the first 3 games. I think we might get a surprising one. Might be a surprise. That doesn't mean I'm expecting us to win and I'll be surprised by a loss. Tough games. Wolves, Chelsea, Tottenham, right? I'm right, aren't I? I might get a surprise in there. Come on, I've got to say I have faith in Moyes. Would be wrong. I have a real hope. I've got a real hope that Moyes can do something. Nick is saying about the Haksabanovic. He's made his deal permanent. We've lost money on Haksabanovic. Chris says, do you think will be the most? Who do you think will be the most important players in the coming weeks? Well, I think I'll say Antonio again. I think Ogbonna's going to be a massive one. Declan Rice will be man of the match on many occasions. I'd be interested to see Jared Bowen can come and score some goals. I think, funny enough, the two of Fabianski's probably going to be our most important player, but does Souček doing, if he can stay fit, I think he's going to be pretty influential, actually. Gonzo should build an underground bunker. It was hard enough building an above ground bunker, my friends. Jamie says Bakayoko has no place in the West Ham team. AC Milan was meant to be a loan for him to grow, and they tried to send him back after a couple of months. Sounds like something I bought from Amazon. I bought something off Amazon on Thursday. It came yesterday, and I sent it back. I got really tight. I thought, this is not so. I bought it like an impulse purchase, and I thought, actually, I don't need this, and I can't afford it, so I sent it back because I'm tight and stingy like that. I'm Gio's sidekick, says Robert Singleton. He just kicks my side, basically. It's dirty, isn't he? Fouls a lot, Gio. Did you notice? Do you remember Miss Marsh? Oh! Do I remember Miss Marsh and William Talbot? I do. That was a score. Oh, my goodness. I never expect to see that up there. Oh, I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. Mrs. Marsh used to drive a Beetle. Wow. Did you go? That's what school went to in Newbury Park. Unbelievable. I haven't thought about her for years. She was my teacher. That's unbelievable. Oh, I'll tell you what, thank you for that. You brought back some lovely memories there, actually. Lovely memories. Chris says, you and JP are my favourite West Ham YouTubers. Thank you, Chris. You are my favourite former manager of Brighton. That's from Chris Hewton. What else have we got? Favourite game of the season? Oh, I don't. I got really drunk at. I can't remember. Was it Everton? I don't know now. It was a damn good day, though. Mitchie from Chelsea, yes or no, Gonzo? I just don't think it's going to happen. Yes, look, if it turned out that we've seen Chelsea's valuation of players. We've seen it back. That Batshuayi doesn't want to come to West Ham. He's turned us down 3 or 4 times. If it was announced tomorrow that he had signed, I'd be pleased. I think it would improve the squad, but no, I just don't think it's happening. Gary says we've got too many injury-prone players. I mean, yeah, it's going to be. He says it's going to be a bit of a car crash. I mean, looking at the fixture congestion and looking what Andy had pointed out. Sorry, not Andy. It was Kev. Looking what Kev had pointed out about the travel and the lack of accommodation, the amount of time they're going to spend on coaches. That's not really good. It's funny, isn't it? You spend all this time stretching as a player and doing all this stuff, and you get cooped up in a coach for 6, 7, 8 hour journeys and then back again. It's not good for you, I'm pretty sure. John Italiano says Haller's slimmed down. He looks ready. I thought he was really slim anyway. I mean, Sebastian, there's a skinny guy, right? Did you think he looked... Did you, John? You thought he looked slimmer than before. Who do you see leaving in the summer, even if we stay up? Excuse me. I reckon one of the centre-backs will leave. I do. I think if it hadn't had the old... That hadn't have happened with the recession, which is what it'll be, the football recession. I think Rice would have gone, but as for reasons I discussed earlier, it's not how many teams can afford Rice; it's how many can battle it out to inflate the price. It's not like there's going to be 3 clubs in for him having a battle and pushing the price up. So yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting. My favourite player on the England team. Well, that's really interesting. What a great question. What a great question. My favourite player on the England team. I would like to see a bit more of Jadon Sancho. I've got to say, he's the sort of player I like. I like Harry Kane. I know we shouldn't because he's Tottenham, but I really like Harry Kane. I'd really like to see more of Phil Foden. The only thing I don't like, there's a lot to admire about Southgate. The only thing I don't like is his composition of the midfield. Sometimes I want a mystical player in there, like a Phil Foden or a Jack Grealish, or do you know what I mean? I want a flair player. I want a genius in there. It's like to say that a bit more, but I couldn't really call my favourite England players. They don't play for England, do they, really? Oh, hold on. Someone's mentioned croissant here, because I have actually got in there, they were reduced, but I think if you heat them up, it's all right, isn't it? They're reduced. Big box of croissants for 50p. That's not really lunch, is it? Whatever you would eat now in a minute when I finish this, that's what they're for. But you've got to slice the croissant before you heat it up. Otherwise, if you don't cut it in the middle, if you try and cut it in the middle once it's heated up, it just all squashes, doesn't it? So anyway, what's he saying about croissants? It's like me eating half a croissant, then throwing it back at the baker who made it. Absolutely. If indeed a baker did make it. Mine have come from the little Tesco at the end of the road. But I'm sure somewhere along the line, a baker, more likely a machine. But it was nice to imagine that a baker was there in his big white hat and all the rest of it, with his bowl and his spoon, stirring up the mixture for the croissant. I reckon it's just a machine. A robot made my old, out-of-date croissants. What do I make on the Lallana and the Klein links? Asks Luke. Rubbish. I don't want either. Good player, Klein, but it ain't really worked out for him. I mean, just some players are just better off where they are, I think, sometimes in life, and they sometimes they move and things go rubbish. Sean Wright Phillips was one. I think Klein. I think Klein should have stayed. Should have stayed at Crystal Palace, really. And obviously, I know Wan-Bissaka would have eventually come through, but I think he would have been a legend at Palace. I think he would have been one of the best right backs in the Premier League. And he goes to Liverpool, he gets an injury, and then Trent Alexander comes through, and well, a lot better than Klein. So, you know. Oh, sorry. So Knackard said his wife went to William Talbot, and they're now in Perth. Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed. My favourite team other than West Ham. My brother supports QPR. My great uncle used to be a director of Brentford. I quite like Bournemouth because we lived down there for a while. My folks still live down there. That's about it, really. I think. Wickham. I used to go and watch Wickham quite a lot because with someone that sort of in the family played for them. So we used to go over there and watch quite a lot of their games. Okay, question. Play 4 games for Millwall or watch 4 games with Chelsea fans. With Chelsea fans. Again, and playing against West Ham. I think I'd stand with the Chelsea fans and watch Chelsea playing against West Ham because I have been in the ends of football grounds that I shouldn't have been in before. Having said that, if I played 4 games for Millwall, no, I guess I'd be good enough to be a professional footballer, right? And even at that level, they don't earn bad money. That's a toughie. JH says, how you doing, Gonzo? I'm okay. Thank you, mate. I hope you're well. Gary Page says, every time I see you, you're... Oh, I'm pissed. Sorry, I thought you said pleased. Yeah. I mean, I'm not now. I never am when I'm at home. I do go to... When I go to the football, I do drink. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I do drink. It's... when I've won, I start to enjoy myself, and I have another one, I start enjoying myself, and then, you know, I see me mates, and we have a laugh, and then, you know, generally we've not seen each other for a while, so, you know, one beer leads to another. It is very true, though, Gary. That is true. But I don't get nasty drunk, do I? I generally sing and not so much dancing, to be fair. My audio's a bit off. Yeah, I'm sorry. Look, I only put this in. I could change it now to this one. So look, I do apologise about that. I'll cut it. It's only for today. I actually got a new microphone yesterday, but I didn't. I thought if I waited another 2 hours and read the instructions, which had the smallest print, we're not going to get a video done today. So I do apologise about the audio, by the way. I am aware that it ain't been great recently, so that's why I ordered the new microphone. It's all getting sorted very, very soon. So, but I do apologise, Paul. Gonzo, you need to remind people to like your videos before the end. As soon as I hear a drop like if you're annoyed, subscribe if you're new, I switch off because I know it's finished. Yep, that's Geo saying subscribe if you, I quite like it. It's quite good. I forget to say the old catchphrases sometimes. Yeah, I probably should remind people to like it, but they like it if they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it, and they tend to tell me anyway. I do read all the comments, though. I do read all the comments, and obviously I like the nice ones, and the other ones I don't like. So I don't get me wrong. This is constructive. Like your sound's not working, I want to hear about it because I want to get it. I want to get it sorted. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit. If you think it's any good, you'll like it. If you don't think it's any good, not only will you probably not like it, you probably go and watch something else, which you probably should be doing anyway. If I don't understand why anyone watches YouTube rather than Netflix or something like that. Anyway, that being said, I was running out last night. I was running out of things to watch. I thought I'm not fishing for someone to tell me a new thing, but I did think, yeah, I could do with something else to watch. I started watching films that I've already watched, so that's not a good thing. Having said that, I got caught in they call it like a YouTube wormhole, where it keeps on suggesting things down the side of your video, down the side. So you're watching something, so you're probably watching this now, and to the side or underneath, there's probably loads of other suggested videos, other West Ham videos, other things that you like, right? So my one, I did a video on this, didn't I? For some reason, it keeps on throwing up cooking tips. I'm crap at cooking, right? But it will generally, there'll be some football videos, some West Ham videos that it suggests. And then there'll be a ton of audio stuff. So before I bought the microphone that I've gone and bought, I've watched loads of videos on microphones, cameras, things like that, and then pinball. So basically, it offers up loads of things I'm interested in. Oh, wow, that's a new camera. Oh, that's a pinball machine repair. And, so I got caught in a wormhole last night until I think about 20 past 1. Watching videos of other people repairing pinball machines. Exciting, some might say. Most wouldn't. Do you think Wilshere could feature in the upcoming games? Yes, I think he will. And yes, I think he will, and I think he will. I just should have said I think he will. I think he might, and I think he will. I don't know. Yeah, yes, the answer's yes. Jack Wilshere wants to play. He certainly does. Wouldn't you? I mean, if you've been out for that amount of time. I mean, don't you I want to get out and do something anyway. I think everyone. Imagine what it's like for Wilshere. Everyone's been locked up, right? And you think, I haven't been able to do my job or go out and do some of the things we'd like to do. Wilshere's had that probably plus 10 because he's not been able to play football for ages. I bet he's desperate to go out there. I guarantee there'll be no one more depressed than Jack Wilshere if he breaks down again in the first game or two. So it's a bit bright on that side, isn't it? You can see I'm not very good at lighting. I'm not very good at audio. And the camera's often set up incorrectly. But apart from that, the video's all right. Right. Yeah. I can't beg for thumbs up, can I, when I can't sort my lighting or my audio out? Would you take 60 million plus Batshuayi and Bakayoko for Rice? Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Not Bakayoko. I don't know enough about him. I just know he's flopped. I mean, you say Batshuayi, I know what I'm getting. I've seen him play. He went on really successful loan at Palace, of course, didn't he? And seen him. I remember that terrible game that he played for Belgium. You sort of know what you're getting. I don't really know what I'm getting with Bakayoko, to be fair. So maybe not. Would I take 60 million plus Batshuayi and Ross Barkley? Yes. There you go. I like Barkley. I mean, he's a bit of a joke figure. He gets lumped in with Phil Jones for some reason. I don't ever understand that, really. I think Barkley's a really good player, by the way, because he's not been the best player at the World Cup or something like that, or or the Euros. People seem to think he's no good. I tell you, Ross Barkley's more than good enough to be a star at West Ham. I can assure you of that. Wilshere will be exciting to watch when it restarts. I think so. I love the way that lad plays football. I really do. The amount of times, I think one of the biggest frustrations over the years, it's been two more recent frustrations at West Ham. Actually, three. Pace, lack of pace. Then set plays, corners and stuff like that. Every so often you get someone that can take a corner or a free kick. But in the main, we're no good at it. It's just like, why does it not get past the first man? The other frustration is what I've always called pass and stand still. We have so many players. I don't know why. We just seem to attract them. Players that pass and don't move. But what are you doing? What are you doing? It's such basic stuff. It's taught. Look, my kids play with kids teams. They're taught it in kids teams. Wilshere is always on the move. You could just tell he's thinking 3 passes ahead. He's thinking, well, I'm going to pass it to you, and by the time I'm going to move into position, I get it back, and by the time I get it back, I'm going to give it to him. You watch him when he's about to receive the ball. He does that before he receives it. And that's why he rolls and he turns. I really like that type of player. And obviously, there's plenty of those players at the very top level, by the way. But Wilshere does it. There we go. Right. What have we got? Sasha says, do you think the players should be confident having no fans calling them naughty words the whole time? Well, the fans will still be calling them naughty words. They just won't hear it. Will it make a difference? I don't know. I don't think it makes a huge difference at London stadiums. I don't think that much is heard. I really don't. It's so far away. Joe Rodden from Swansea, Gonzo in the summer. Mate, I'll tell you what, you go and look at the forum. I was talking about him 2.5 years ago. Right? In fact, we recently did... in fact, you look at our cups of tea. I've mentioned Joe Rodden probably 6 or 7 times on these channels. He is the best young player around. Best young defender around. Simple as that. He is incredibly fast. That's why... I'll tell you when I mentioned it, when we were linked with Mawson. And I said, my words were, Mawson has got the turning circle of an oil tanker. The only reason they want to get rid of Mawson is they've got a young lad called Joe Rodden coming through. Joe Rodden was training, Ashley Williams, Joe Rodden was training with the Wales team with Ashley Williams keeping an eye on him when he was 16. With the main, the top Welsh, I'm saying the top Welsh team. Frigging international seniors. Crikey, I can't even think or talk today. That's why I was going to stay up late at night watching YouTube. It's not good for you watching YouTube. I tell you, I don't even know what you're doing here. Declan Rice. Cutting early from the family lunch to hear your fit voice. You shouldn't do that. You should eat your family lunch. Don't get annoyed. You make the family annoyed with me. I don't want that. I don't want to be in trouble. Thoughts on the recent article that Noble was at odds with Pellegrini's coaching methods? Hadn't read the article, Ian, but I had heard as much. I heard towards the end, Noble got very vocal with Pellegrini, and I understand he made it quite clear at training actually. So I didn't know the article had been a recent article, but I believe that to be the truth, whatever the article said, surely. If we can win any one of our next 3 games, it'll be equal as 3 draws against all 2 teams. Clutching at straws, can only hope. As for 5 at the back, does that include Masuaku? Well, he's... It's just a massive error, wasn't it, really, to give him and Cresswell both 5-year contracts at the same time. Masuaku at left wing back, you would imagine that's probably what he would go with, because whenever he plays 3 at the back, he plays Cresswell as a left centre back, which I don't like. I don't want to get on at Moyes. I want him to do well. I don't want to be. It's been so long about football. I guess the fact that we're now worried about these little tactical intricacies, these little nuanced bits, I guess it means we're getting back to to football coming along, doesn't it? If we're worried about such things. Yeah. Oh, dogs are barking. There you go. Why are the dogs barking? Excuse me, I might have to. It's all right. My daughter's going to check why the dogs are barking. There we go. I've been thinking that Fornals could work in Noble's position. Oh, yeah, absolutely right, Jazza, by the way. You're absolutely right there. What is your team against Palace and the rest of the season? My team, I wouldn't have a team against, well, I would have some players out. But I think I did do the video about my team for the Wolves game. So the back four was, as you'd expect, so it was Fredericks, Ogbonna, Diop, and Cresswell. Souček Rice in the middle with Fornals there. Right Bowen, left Anderson, Antonio up top on his own. I think that's what I said. Well, that's what I'm saying now. If I didn't say that, that's clearly what I think now. I've skipped a few. Gonzo, when you, me, Gio, and Charlie going to do a show, we could call it a pot of tea. That we could. Ray does a regular. Ray's a good guy. Ray does a regular podcast with Charlie on the Patreon page. It's good. It's a good podcast, actually. Really, really good. And the last one was a good laugh. I had Tom on as well. Listen, whenever, Ray, you let me know, mate. You let me know, of course. Croissants with butter and jam, dunked in a mug. What? You can't dunk the croissant in a mug of tea. That's not right, is it? Chris Hughton is playing. He's listening whilst playing career mode as Declan. What do you mean playing career mode as? Are you playing it as one player? He must be. It's very hard in career mode West Ham to know what to do with Declan Rice. I just put him to centre back because he's a bit Steamboat Willie for the middle of the park. Really, he doesn't turn quite enough. So I always put him as centre back. Should be illegal to put savoury food in a croissant. Nobody puts savoury food in a croissant, does it? I don't think so. Well, Miggsy dunks it in tea. See, Victor Fenn. I can see Adam Lallana signing for us. We don't need Adam Lallana. We got Dewberry Watson. We have got Fornals. We have got Wilshere. We have got Anderson, and we've got Lanzini, who can all play in that position. And we got some players coming through from the academy who can also play in that position. So we don't need him. We really don't. And he's injury prone. It's the worst thing we can do. We've got to be really careful who we give contracts to now, by the way. And anyone, I think, one thing I think this has probably changed is the amount of people get 5-year contracts. I think you just can't really do it at the moment, so there's a bit more certainty. I'm not suggesting we would give Lallana a 5-year contract, but we've really got to be careful. Miggsy, second team, probably AFC Wimbledon. It's just probably the saddest story in football, actually, about what happened to Wimbledon. Wickham are in a playoff, Gonzo. If they go up, West Ham go down. It's Wickham away. At least, I tell you what, that's the one place I possibly would get a press pass. So you never know. Thoughts on Swindon Town and then winning League Two? I don't have any thoughts on that. To be fair, all I hope is that as many the lower league clubs as possible stay in business because they're great. I mean, they are great. I look at football now; it's been soured by money, and I've got my local club down the road, and you can look at teams like Wickham, you look at teams like Swindon, and it's proper football. It's football as you remember it. All right, granted, they might have not the most skillful players on the pitch, but the fans are up for it. The fans are close to the pitch. The fans are not treated like an inconvenience and kept at arm's length. So you go to Wickham, you can walk you can walk right there, you can get right on the barriers, you can lean over, you can speak to the players. I mean, it's get your autograph at the end and all the rest of it. You're not treated as though you're going to kill the players, you know. I think there's a really lower league footballers. There's got an awful lot going for it. Gonzo is not wearing a fake shirt. Gonzo is not wearing a fake shirt. No. I will show you my fake shirt. If I can find it, if it hasn't completely disintegrated. I was really pleased with myself when I bought this fake shirt for a tenner. It was awful. It was awful. I was not pleased after one wash. I don't mean one wash for me. I mean one wash for the shirt. Can you see? There you go. They got out of business. I'll try and... No, I won't try and peel it off. I don't even know what they do. What do they do? Or what did they do? Is it jewellery? Or is it... Maybe they just make three-legged lions. And that's why they went out of business. Because there's not a lot of call, is there, for the three-legged lion? Particularly when they're called Basset and Gold. Not a very lion-like name. Is it a lion? Not dragon, is it? Oh, sorry, there's one other leg, I think. Was it a poo? I don't know. You get the best content on here, of course. Gary Page says, I'm a happy drunk. I am a happy drunk. To be fair, I'm happy if I'm drinking a cup of tea, to be honest. I'm mostly happy, which is why it's bloody horrible when I'm miserable. Gonzo, my second team is Swindon Town, says Chris. What did I send back to Amazon? A camera. Hi, Gonzo. Remember me from the hot... Oh, I'm not. No. Phil Macook. Phil Macook. We'll call him. Thank you, Phil. We're playing Palace today. Yes, we are. I'll try and do a video tomorrow. I won't know an awful lot. I'll warn you now. I probably will just look at the pictures and take the mickey. All right. Someone else can give you the details. We'll do proper reviews when the season starts. So first game back, we're doing. I'll tell you, we got a lot of videos. We've got a lot of videos. We're doing breakfast with Joe and Gonzo, possibly not the croissant, which we're doing for Patreon, and then we are doing the build-up show, which is where they release the teams, which are on the main channel. Then Charlie and Tom are doing a watch-along. And then straight afterwards, myself and Gio do a review over on the main channel. I could do with some of you guys sending in some videos to here, to put on here, some instant reactions, please. If anybody is interested, we'd be very, very happy to have you. Then we are doing our... player ratings video for the Patreon. So I mean, we're busy day for us match days now. We're doing five videos in total. Yeah, and that's not including what people send in for match reactions. So there we go. What time is the Palace game? I don't know. They've been so secretive about it. Friday night dinner is good. Friday night dinner is good. My kids think I'm like the dad. And I've not got the best hearing, so they think I'm like the dad in it, basically. But everyone likes Jim, don't they? From next door, with Wilson. Wilson. The Expanse. Okay, I'll have a go at that. Okay, Mixie, I'll have a go at that. Thank you. The Expanse. Hammer's chat message was deleted by Ray Borum. I can only imagine that wasn't the genuine Hammers chat. Thank you, Ray. Ray's like my shield, like a protector. I can't think of any Marvel things. I don't watch the comic things. Captain America, does he have a shield? And he's not in America, so I guess he's nothing like. Ray is nothing like Captain America. He runs a bar in Liverpool, but he's protecting me. Clearly someone said something rude and pretended to be Hammer's chat. I went on with JP the other day, and the first thing he said, so I popped in and just typed in the chat like you folks are doing now. Whatever, hello, whatever, I can't remember whatever I typed. And he said he got one of his mods to say, can we check that this is the real? Because there are a lot of fake accounts that get made up. It was me. Well, he knows it was me because I went on. I popped in, had a chat with him on the show. Thanks, Gonzo, for replying to my Mike comment. It wasn't meant as a criticism. Just wanted to make you aware. I appreciate your channel. It's one of my favourite on YouTube. Keep up with the great content. Hey, no, Paul, thank you. No, thank you, mate. No, I wouldn't take any criticism of the audio as you know. I wouldn't take it as a criticism. It's feedback. I need it. I need it. I often start these shows and say, "Can you hear me?" And particularly the live shows. It's hard. I think it's hard on the software. I think it's hard on the laptop. It's because there's quite a lot going on with the broadband and all the rest of it. I've got it plugged in with the Ethernet cable there. So if you don't tell me, I don't know. We don't know. So that's not that's absolutely fine. Please continue, mate. And yeah, but I am aware of it, and I will get it sorted, as I said. From those who have underperformed so far, Yarmolenko, Sanchez, Wilshere, Jetty, who do you think could still have an impact this season? Out of those you said, I would say Yarmolenko and Wilshere. And John has said, Alan, would you include Haller in that question? If he did, let's say he has, Haller can definitely have an impact between now and the end of the season. If Haller doesn't score some goals between now and the end of the season, I'd be absolutely amazed. Anybody that can get out there between now and the end of the season and score 4 goals, I'll just mean one. I'm saying West Ham need to only score 4 goals. Clearly we don't. But if one player can contribute 4 goals, that's going to make a massive difference whether we stay up or not. Funny, isn't it? It's really small margins now. Chris says Barkley's ruining his career at Chelsea. Yeah, but not the first, is he? Should we hire specialists at set pieces, throwing coaches in Liverpool? I tell you what, I love that what Liverpool have done. I love the small detail. Funny, we're just discussing it. I love the small detail of stuff like that. There's a guy called Dave Brailsford. He used to run, when Britain was hoovering up all the cycling medals. And he had something called marginal gains. It was take 1% here, take 1% there. And he'd do a number of things which he thought could make a percentage difference. Sorry, my son had a golf club over my daughter's head. Can we not hit each other with golf clubs, please? Thank you. No, I'm not finished. Thank you. A fair enough, a reasonable request. Not something anybody ever says to Tiger Woods, of course. Right, listen, what was I talking about? I can't even remember now. Small detail. So if you take 1% here, 1% there, then you get 10% in the end or 5%. It makes a difference. I like that. I like specialist coaches. Gonzo, do you think West Ham would do well in a 4-2-2-2-2-2-2-2? Is that a dress? Quite possibly. Yeah, I mean, the only trouble with the 2 up top is we're 1 injury away from it being catastrophic. And with these close games, they're going to have to be people that miss out on some games just because, for all the reasons I've stated in the last day or two on videos. So I think you couldn't play that every game because Antonio and Haller, who's going to have to play as the front 2, are not going to be fit for every game. Good day from West Australia, fellow Hammers. So I went with a good day. No, I didn't, because it's Hammer Down Under. So I was quite safe doing the good day. Do you know if local safety people have given the okay for games to go ahead? You're talking about Newham Council, the certificate. That'll be a formality. Not sure if it's happened yet, Michael, but that'll be a formality. I can't control team sheets, Gonzo. It's Moyes who plays central. Oh, you do. You're doing career, not as the team. You're doing it as a single player. Oh, I'll tell you what. That's got to be a. Looked at it. That seems like hard work, a hard slog. You're a very patient man, Chris. Jim says Noble has to play as much as possible without a crowd. He can motivate. That's a good point, actually. No crowd to motivate. Noble uses his leadership qualities. Gary said, would you be angry if the boards I watch live at the ground, social distancing? If I was the owner, I'd try it on. Would I be angry if the... No, Andy, I don't get angry at such things, mate. I think so many angry things. Look, at the end of the day, I think if I owned West Ham and I knew I had the whole director's box to myself and I could go in and not be around anyone, I would. I would. And you're probably allowed to. Can you go into work and social distance? I mean, I think the rules would probably even allow it. Can you work from home? Yes, he probably does work from home most of the time. But if he has to watch the game, wants to watch the game, yeah, I mean, why would you not? I would. I mean, that's the one thing about our owners. They do go to games, don't they? I mean, there's a lot of people that own these clubs who don't go to the games. The bloke who owns Liverpool don't go to games. Remember Bramwich hardly ever goes to games, so on and so forth. Mike Ashley, Mike Ashley's allowed. I think he used to go to games. He used to drink them in the boozer, didn't he? He used to get in the Newcastle shirt and all the rest of it, and things went a bit sour in a relationship. So I wouldn't. You certainly wouldn't. If they went to the game, you certainly wouldn't see an angry video from me having a go about it. There's a lot of things that the owners have done wrong, which you can stick the boot in, and I do, and I have, but I don't. Not on that one. If the three of them were in there together, cuddling, Gold. Imagine if you. No, actually, don't imagine if you. But anyway, let's say Gold, Sullivan, and Brady were all within less than 2 meters away from each other. Then of course that would be very, very silly. But one of them in the director's box on their own, not really. I'm not sure what the rules are on helicopters either. I don't know. I haven't specified that. I only know about trains and things. A banana and melted cheese croissant. I don't know how they're running things down under, but that's not right, is it really? Let's be fair. Could always go over the choco pain instead of the croissant. No. I don't know. No, I like it warmed up. Do you know what I mean? Move your mic away from your gob or get a profile. Yeah, listen, you're hammer down under, you're late to the show. Sorry. I do know there's a mic issue, but I didn't realise it was too loud. Now I will move it away. I don't know what the get a profile bit is. What about having once a week where you just have a 1 minute hammers rant? I do that. It's called Gonzo in 60 seconds. I'm up for any idea. Yeah. Why not? Actually, let's give it. Do you know what? Who said that? Mark. Thank you, Mark Eggins. Thank you. It's given me an idea actually, which I will. Anyway, let's get. I'm going to do something. Right. Okay. Who are 3 teams you think will go down? Well, I'm sorry to Paul. We've got a couple of Aston Villa fans who watch his channel. And Paul's one of them. Sorry to Paul. I think that it's Aston Villa, Norwich. And I'm sorry to say, actually, no. See, here's the thing, a lot of my friends support Bournemouth. So am I not saying Bournemouth because I'm thinking, mates, this is the thing. It clouds your judgment. I don't know. I'm sorry. There's a part of me that thinks maybe Brighton get dragged into it. Interested to see what happens with Watford as well. It's interesting. I don't know. Crikey, another message deleted from Hammers Chat. Clearly not the official Hammers Chat. Have you no, Gary's asking if I've tried to interview, get an interview with David Sullivan. He wouldn't do one at the moment. I know he wouldn't do one. Yes, basically, I have asked. He wouldn't do one. Gio really wants to interview him. He won't do one at the moment. I was very close. I basically got promised one with David Gold for this season, but then things got so sour, and then I didn't follow it up. Because I just think there's no way to interview the owners without getting. It was I did a video. If you remember, I did a video after the Moose interviewed him, and I'm very critical of the Moose, very critical of David Gold. I thought there was a lot of inaccuracy in there, and then started the wheels in motion, whereby Mr. Gold contacted somebody about the video, and then it got back to me, and the option was open for the end of the season. It's before coronavirus or anything like that I was going to be able to interview him. Now, this is an interview that should have happened 2 or 3 times. It didn't happen. So, firstly, you know what it's like when you get let down 3 or 4 times anyway, and then it's mentioned again. Just in life generally, you think, yeah, it's not going to happen. But then I thought about it, and I saw how sort of frail David Gold was, and I thought, you know what? I just didn't think it's a good look. Me being quite stern and not angry, but being quite direct with an 83-year-old man in bad health. I just thought, actually, there's no way I can probably get my points across, because he speaks in sound bites, David Gold. So he will say things like, we had the best of intentions, and they weren't, things like, they weren't promises, they were more good intentions, things like that. There's no way that you can't come back at that question. And there's no way that can be done without accusing him of twisting the truth. And I just didn't ever think it was a particularly good look for basically a 46-year-old bloke to look like he's picking on someone in his mid-80s who's in poor health. So so I decided not to. That was the truth of the matter. Mixie says he's got 4 legs. Oh, you're talking about the bear, tiger, lion. I didn't see the back one. It was a poo or something. I don't know. Can you practice attacking in FIFA? I'm just not very good. I'm not very good. Gio seems to know what I'm going to do. Probably everyone knows what I'm going to do. No, I don't. I've given up. I'll see it to its end. But you can see I'm not motivated. Put it that way. Nathaniel Klein, Adam Lallana would be perfect signings for us. Entry poem, former England international, so on and so forth. Says Foshizi. Victor says we'll draw against Wolves. Profile. A word invented by Hugh Laurie for the furry thing. Do you know what we call them? Dead cats. Dead cats. Oh, I see. So you're getting lots of pss, pss, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, sorry. I do apologise. Yeah, we call them dead cats, basically, because they look like a dead cat. Do you think Fornals can replace Nobles? Well, we'd already discussed that today, didn't we? Crikey, another one. Andy's deleted the Hammers chat. Do you know what? I'm quite pleased. I don't know. Don't tell me. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in what's been written, actually. If they've deemed it deleted, we're not meant to know. Good. Thank you, Andy, and thank you, Ray. My comfort blankets. Right, I am actually going to have to stop now because I need to go and get something for the kids to eat later. The missus has been on nights. Hold on. What is it? What is it? Nothing. All right. She said she's trying to throw apple seeds at you. No, apples. Yeah. Well, can you not? Can you eat them instead? Go away. I'm going to do a video. This is, you see what I've got to deal with? You see this? First of all, it was golf clubs, and now they're throwing apples at each other. It's looking a bit feisty out there, I've got to say. Right, what else we got? I think that's right. Listen, excuse me. Graham Miller. I'll finish with Graham. I'm exactly the same thought process as you, Gonzo, on the contracts. We had 2 left backs. They must have thought all their Christmases had come at once. 10 Christmases. 2 5-year contracts, 10 Christmases came at once. I'm just going to scroll right down to the bottom. Crikey, you lot have been writing a lot. Hammer down Hundo. Gonzo, 60 seconds. Your missus has been suggesting vids again. That's twice, my friend. That would be twice, 60 seconds. I've got to say goodbye to John Jordan, to Edwards Webster. Oh, maybe not. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Edward. Sorry, I thought you'd been banned. You hadn't. My apologies. To Pipeless Casts. Well, he's obviously. I think he's given me some. No, it's fine. Sorry, I thought he was giving me some technical advice there, which I was just going to save in case it was to do with microphones. It wasn't. I'm mistaken. Peter Jones, Hammer Down Under, Evolve. Nick Swire Thompson, Knackered, and Interrail says, I'm new here, Gonzo. Welcome. I'm sorry you've come in at the end there, but we are very pleased to see you, and we will we'll catch up with you next time. I've got to go. I've got naughty kids. I've got to get something to eat. I was a naughty. I'm not too harsh because I was very naughty when I was a child. By the way, to Shilton, to Gary, to everybody that I've not mentioned in the chat, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for making it a very pleasant hour. I'm sorry I've not done much of these later. Jamie Smith says we've beaten Palace. I'm gonna do my research on that. I'm gonna find out what's happened. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll talk about it. And at the very least, we will have a look at what the players are wearing. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and I will see you all very, very soon.